Hi friends, thank you again for joining me today. We're going to 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9. This is 5 minutes of faith. All right, let's get into the Word together. We're in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9 through 10. I want to talk to you again about who you are in Christ, your identity in Him. Do you know who you are? Now, some would think, well, that's just being self-centered. That's pride. You know, it's all about you. It's not about you. It's about Jesus. And we need to be focused on God and not on yourself. And that's true. I'm not focused on myself. I'm not talking about who you are in of yourself, your own ability, your own skills, your own strength. No, I'm talking about, do you know who you now are in Christ? Yeah, we can know all day long who we once were. We are very familiar with that old man. But are you now more familiar with the new man, the one that's now joined together with Christ, the one who's been born again? Because this is who God sees you as. This is who God says you are. You know, true humility is simply coming into agreement with God, submitting yourself to God. It's not about how I see myself, in of myself. It's not about my insecurities or my shortcomings. It is about Him in me. He has transformed me. And did you know that God gets glory when you recognize how He can take this old sinner, this dead man, and turn him around and resurrect him and put a brand new spirit? God gets the glory for that. God gets the glory for transforming us. When we give Him praise for that and recognize that, He gets blessed because of it. Look what it says in 1 Peter chapter 2, verse 9, that you are a chosen generation, a royal priesthood, a holy nation, His own special people, that you may proclaim the praises of Him who called you out of darkness and into His marvelous light. Look, this is what He's done. He's transformed us from the kingdom of darkness into the kingdom of His dear Son. You need to recognize yourself as His dear child in His kingdom, who once were not a people, but now are the people of God. You are a person of God. You're of God now. You belong. God has brought you in, who had not obtained mercy, but now have obtained mercy. Go to Ephesians chapter 2, verse 1 through 13. Now, there's a lot more here than I can read, so I'm going to kind of skip ahead and just show you. But you need to take a look at this and meditate on this yourself, because the theme here is that this is who you once were, but now in Christ, this is who you are. And that's the focus, on who you are and how Christ sees you. He says, and you He made alive who were dead in trespasses and sin, in which you once walked according to the course of this world, according to the prince of the power of the air. See, it's what you once were, but this is who you are now. Go down to verse 4. But God, who is rich in mercy, because of His great love with which He loved us, even when we were dead in trespasses, made us alive together with Christ. By grace you've been saved, and raised us up together. Did you know that you've been raised up? See, so many Christians are just looking at themselves as put down. I'm just a nobody. I'm just an old sinner. It's not about me. I'm worthless. I'm just, I have no self. I have no self worth at all. Well, of course, there's nothing good in of yourself. But you're not in of yourself anymore. You're in Christ. And there's something even greater than good in Christ. He said He raised us up together and made us sit together in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus. Man, that's amazing right there. You could just pause and meditate on that. What does that mean? That He has made us sit together in the heavenly places in Christ Jesus. This is who you are, a royal priesthood, a holy nation. Don't be arrogant in of yourself, but have a confidence and take delight and joy in who God has made you to be. Well, you could just go on through this. I want to jump down, though, to verse 13. It says, but now, verse 12, but at that time you were without Christ, being aliens from the commonwealth of Israel and strangers from the covenants of promise, having no hope and without God in this world. Boy, I remember the day that described me. But not anymore. He says, now in Christ Jesus, you who once were afar off have been brought near by the blood of Christ. And now go to verse 19. He says, now therefore you are no longer strangers and foreigners, but fellow citizens with the saints and members of the household of God. Meditate on what that means. Fellow citizens of the household of God. This is who you are now. See yourself as that now. Go out into this world. Let Christ use you to make a difference. Use you to make an impact. The only way that's going to happen is when you have a confidence in who He is in you and who He has made you to be. I hope this has encouraged you today. 5 minutes of faith.